Let's talk about something truly terrifying: artificial intelligence in weapons. This isn't just a distant possibility or a plot from a sci-fi movie. It's a reality that's unfolding right now, often out of sight and out of mind for most of us. For decades, war has been a human tragedy, driven by human choices and errors. Every conflict, every battle, has been shaped by the decisions, emotions, and mistakes of people on the ground and in command. But now, we're building machines that can decide to kill on their own. These aren't just tools, they're autonomous agents, programmed to make life and death decisions without direct human input. This isn't science fiction. It's happening right now, and we're barely paying attention. The world's most powerful militaries are racing to develop smarter, faster, and more independent killing machines. Militaries promise AI will make war cleaner and more precise. But the reality is chilling. The idea of surgical strikes and precision targeting sounds reassuring, but it masks the true risks. We're outsourcing the most profound moral decision, the choice to take a life, to algorithms. Lines of code written by fallible humans are now the final arbiters of who lives and who dies. These systems can't feel, can't understand context, and can't grasp the weight of their actions. They don't know fear, regret, or compassion. They simply execute instructions. The potential for catastrophic failure isn't just a risk, it's inevitable. Software bugs, misidentification, or unexpected scenarios can turn a weapon into a disaster in seconds. Imagine the same flawed logic that recommends you endless penguin documentaries, but on a battlefield. Algorithms can be biased, unpredictable, and easily fooled. AI operates on patterns, not principles. It doesn't understand mercy or doubt. It can't question its orders or hesitate when something feels wrong. We're building weapons incapable of understanding what they're destroying. The devastation they cause is just data, zeros and ones, processed without empathy or remorse. The speed of AI means human control is becoming an illusion. By the time we react, the missile is already in the air. Decisions are made in milliseconds, far faster than any human could intervene. We're setting the stage for wars that can start and escalate without a single human decision. The future of conflict may be decided by machines long before we even realize what's happening. So, how is this future unfolding? AI is quietly taking over every part of the military. Autonomous drones can now identify and strike targets with minimal human input. AI powers missile defense systems, making split-second decisions that humans can't match. But what if the AI mistakes a flock of birds for a missile? One error could trigger disaster. AI-driven surveillance sifts through mountains of data, flagging potential threats in seconds. Algorithms can generate target lists faster than any human, but the margin for error is huge. These systems are interconnected. Surveillance flags a target, drones strike, defenses react, all at machine speed. Human oversight is becoming a fantasy. We're building a war machine that's spinning out of our control. Here's the core problem. AI has no ethics, no conscience, no empathy. It doesn't understand right from wrong or feel the weight of its decisions. It simply processes data and executes commands without any sense of responsibility or remorse. When we hand over critical decisions to machines, we're trusting something that can't care about consequences. AI follows instructions, even if those instructions lead to tragedy. It doesn't question orders, hesitate, or reflect on the possible harm it might cause. It just acts relentlessly, with no pause for doubt or compassion. International law demands armies distinguish between combatants and civilians, but AI can't make those calls. It lacks the human intuition and judgment needed to interpret complex, real-world situations. A farmer with a shovel or a journalist with a camera could be misidentified as threats. The subtle cues that humans use to tell friend from foe are invisible to algorithms. AI systems have already misclassified civilians as combatants, with deadly results. These mistakes aren't just technical glitches, they're tragedies that cost innocent lives and fuel further conflict. Now imagine two AI defense systems escalating a conflict in minutes, without human input. In a world where speed is everything, machines could trigger wars before anyone has time to intervene. Machines can't pause, de-escalate, or communicate. They just follow logic. They don't negotiate, show mercy, or seek understanding. They simply execute, regardless of the human cost. And if these systems are hacked, they could be turned against their creators. A single vulnerability could unleash chaos, with machines acting on malicious commands. The weapons we build to protect us could become our greatest vulnerability. Our own creations could be used against us, with devastating consequences. We're creating digital Trojan horses and inviting them inside our own gates. The more we rely on code without conscience, the more we risk losing control over our own security and future. Let's look at how this can go wrong, fast. In the digital age, the speed and scale of disaster can be unprecedented, with decisions made in milliseconds and consequences that ripple across continents. Automation bias means soldiers may blindly trust AI recommendations, turning human control into a rubber stamp. When the pressure is on, and lives are at stake, it's easy to defer to the machine, especially when its logic is too complex to question in the heat of the moment. An AI trained on flawed data could flag ambulances as threats, leading to massacres of civilians. The tragedy is compounded when the system can't distinguish between friend and foe, and innocent lives are lost in the crossfire of algorithmic error. Many AI systems are black boxes. Even their creators can't explain their decisions. This opacity makes it nearly impossible to trace the logic behind a fatal mistake, leaving everyone in the dark. If an AI targets a wedding instead of a convoy, we may never know why. The lack of transparency means families are left with questions, and justice is out of reach. Accountability disappears when no one can explain the mistake. Responsibility is diffused, and those affected are left without answers or recourse. Data poisoning is another risk. Enemies could corrupt AI training data, baking hidden biases into the system. This sabotage can be subtle, invisible, and devastating, undermining trust in the very tools meant to protect us. The AI could then target innocent people or cultural sites, committing automated war crimes. The destruction of heritage and loss of life become the collateral damage of digital warfare. The weapon becomes an unwitting agent of the enemy's strategy. What was built for defense can be turned against its creators in an instant. We're building systems that can be manipulated in ways we can't predict or control. The risks are real, and the consequences could be catastrophic if we don't proceed with caution and oversight. This is a global AI arms race moving at breakneck speed. Major powers are pouring billions into military AI, each fearing they'll fall behind. Ethics are tossed aside in the rush for a technological edge. There are no binding international laws for AI and warfare, no Geneva Convention for algorithms. Tech companies, while touting ethics, are selling AI to militaries, blurring civilian and military lines. The arms race is privatized, making oversight nearly impossible. As the technology spreads, it will become available to rogue states and terrorists. Imagine anyone with money buying an army of autonomous drones. The potential for chaos and atrocities is staggering. We're opening Pandora's box, with no plan for what comes next. We're at a crossroads. Do we let amoral algorithms decide who lives and dies? If we don't act, we risk losing control, and human dignity on the battlefield will vanish. The warnings are clear. Delegating life and death decisions to machines is an affront to humanity. We need urgent global action, an international treaty to ban lethal autonomous weapons. There must always be meaningful human control over the use of force. Banning weapons isn't impossible, it's a moral necessity. Citizens must demand action, and tech workers must refuse to build these systems. We must choose human wisdom over machine efficiency. The choice is stark: regulate AI weapons, or face a future of uncontrollable algorithmic warfare. The time to act is now, before it's too late.